Hi everyone from the IBS support group. This is Desiree Abikatsis, your naturopath and co-founder of the IBS support group worldwide, along with Gabby Forrester. We are two passionate naturopaths who are specialized in helping our clients get rid of the symptoms that are encompassed in irritable bowel syndrome. This is our passion, and we do this day in and day out in our practices. So I thought it was important for me to get on today and just really discuss the basic foundational principles and questions of what is IBS and what causes IBS. So I see the reason I'm doing this is because I see many people in the group very unaware of what's going on, maybe recently freshly diagnosed with IBS. Some people asking, what is IBS-C? What is IBS-D? I have no idea what these words mean. So I thought it was important to just really cover the foundations of what is IBS and what are the causes for IBS. So IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, as many of you in here know and have probably researched for your own health. And it's basically an umbrella term. This is very important. It's an umbrella term that covers a constellation of different symptoms. So under this term of IBS, you could have someone suffering from the symptoms of constipation, symptoms of gas, symptoms of bloating, symptoms of hyperacidity, symptoms of constipation. You could have all of these different types of manifestations of irritable bowel syndrome, and that's why it's such a very difficult thing to diagnose. Gastroenterologists will normally do this by the process of exclusion, so they'll exclude other situations in order to include and leave in that you might be suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, and that's why it's so difficult. It's very still not 100% clear what it is, what constitutes IBS, and how to treat it, because it varies such a wide range of symptoms. So an estimated 23% of women and 11% of men suffer from IBS. It's one of the most common health complaints that I personally see in my practice. Almost everyone suffers from digestive disorders. When I meet people and tell them what I do, they're like, oh yeah, I have IBS. Oh yeah, my husband has IBS. People really know what this is because it affects their lives or their family life in some way, shape, or form. And so you can have abdominal pain associated with a wide range of symptoms. And in many cases, it's a mystery. It's a little bit of a mystery. There is no one way to test IBS and rule out if this is IBS or not in the conventional way. In alternative medicine, in integrative medicine, we do have specific tests that can guide us along specific avenues to determine if someone has an overgrowth of bacteria, to determine, obviously, diarrhea and constipation are more obvious. You know if you have them or not. And then when it comes to the manifestations, so someone could be suffering from chronic diarrhea, which is the sudden urge to have bowel movements, abdominal pain, intestinal gas, loose stools, frequent stools, a feeling of not being able to completely excrete and eliminate bowel, so you feel like something is still kind of in there and always has to come out, and then nausea. Whereas IBS-C is irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, and some people have mixed, alternating bowel movements. But IBS-C is hard, lumpy stools, difficult to pass, spending a lot of time on the toilet, sitting and waiting for a stool to pass. Whereas in IBS-D, you are constantly spending lots of time on the toilet, but you're constantly running to the toilet in order to excrete diarrhea. So in both cases, you're spending lots of time on the toilet. One is because you're frequently going, and one is because you're just not going enough and waiting for it to come out. And then it's often strained. It often comes along with hemorrhoids or anal fissures when we're talking about IBS-C, and infrequent stools. So someone may not go to the bathroom, for 7 days. I've had clients, who don't go who don't go to the bathroom frequently. And this can be very stressful. It's also causing a buildup of toxins and waste in the body because our bowels constantly need to be moving and eliminating and, constantly having fiber sweep through the intestinal tract to make sure that everything's clean and clear and there isn't any impacted and compacted stool accumulating waste, causing that gas and bloating, fermenting and putrefying. So it's important to go to the bathroom and get rid of our waste. So basically both situations are not ideal. Both situations really impact someone's life. It's IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, is basically a manifestation in the body of one of the most basic functions, which is going to the bathroom. We shouldn't even be thinking about this. We should be going to the bathroom every single day with ease, with comfort, with well-formed bowel movements, without any pain, without any distension or bloating or cramping. None of this stuff should be happening. We should just be, in an ideal situation, eliminating waste out of our body. So, intaking material, which is food, processing it, digesting it properly, and having it eliminate through in an easy, non-stressful way. So like I say, the cause of irritable bowel syndrome is unknown. The current standard is that you have to be suffering in order for it to be diagnosed as irritable bowel syndrome, you have to have been suffering for at least 3 months in order to constitute some sort of syndrome or diagnosis that they can actually put a label on you for. And so it's a catch-all umbrella term. And what causes it? That's the thing. So many different causes, which means that if you are going to take an approach to start to address your IBS, there must be a multifaceted approach. I've said this before in the group. So the causes, common causes, possible contributing factors are chronic stress, poor diet, even lack of sleep, okay? Not eating the right foods, or constantly eating foods that are irritating your bowel over and over and over again. Dysbiosis, which means an imbalance of healthful, beneficial bacteria in the gut and the intestinal tract. Or SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, where there is actually bacteria growing in the wrong place that we don't want it to grow in. This is where it's growing and proliferating in the small intestine. That is the site of absorption. We don't want a lot of bacteria in there. We want the bacteria more to be in the large intestine, in the colon. That's the house. That's the hot house of where all of the metabolic activity with the bacteria takes place. Sometimes IBS is triggered by a viral or bacterial infection that someone had, or gastroenteritis, so an irritation or an inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract. And people find that after an infection like this, they'll start to develop symptoms of IBS. Sometimes it's that a person's had their gallbladder removed and then they start to develop symptoms of IBS. Someone will maybe go through post-traumatic stress disorder, so some sort of trauma to the body, some sort of trauma to the emotional body as well, where they'll start to develop gastrointestinal symptoms after a situation like that has occurred. And as well as an overactive immune system. So we know that a big portion of the immune system is located in the gastrointestinal tract. If you want to look that up, you can look up GALT, okay? And so lots of the basically immune activity, immune function can be hampered if there is an excess of negative bacteria or candidiasis or parasites in the gastrointestinal tract that can really depress the immune system function and the ability to fight off colds and flus. And then going a little bit further, if it gets to a chronic situation, can sometimes even develop into an autoimmune condition. We also know that stress, of course, anxiety, depression, mood disorders can also set off the state of your gut and can also lead to a situation of irritable bowel syndrome. So as we say, the possible causes can be many, can be varied, can be so different. We're talking about food, we're talking about stress here, we're talking about mood disorders, we're talking about immune disorders. And that's why you can't just treat IBS. It's not one pill for one ill. It doesn't work like that in alternative medicine, in the way of looking at the body. And the most effective way of treating IBS, you must implement a natural approach. But because the causes are so varied, so the treatment must also be varied. First of all, you need to single out exactly what's going on with you and your IBS. You need to have proper testing done if you want to save tons of time and tons of money and tons of stress and hassle and headache in your life. You have to pinpoint exactly what your IBS is due to and how your IBS manifests in your life and in your body. And then after you know what is causing it for you individually, you must implement a strategic, proven approach that will address the mental, emotional factors, the dietary factors, considering a diet that's specific for your needs, how your immune system is functioning, how your moods are, how your stress factors are, going deeply into seeing what your food sensitivities are. What is the state of your gut bacteria? What is the state of your stool? What's showing up in your stool sample? What's showing up in your food sensitivity test? Which foods are you constantly, attacking your body with, that your body is constantly saying, hey, I'm allergic to this. Stop giving it to me. Stop giving it to me. I'm showing you signs and symptoms in your gastrointestinal tract saying that this is not working for me. Try to find another food that's going to be easier on me. Try to find another food that's going to help to heal me instead of continuing to hurt me over and over again. So guys, this was really the introduction of what is IBS, how may it be manifesting in your body, and what are the causes? What's causing IBS in the first place? And we come to the conclusion that the causes can be many, and therefore the treatment must be very targeted, must be individualized and customized to your individual situation, and must include a variety of ways of addressing it for your specific needs. I hope that's clear. If anyone has any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. I'll go back into the thread and try to answer them. And I hope this really brings some clarification for people who are just new to IBS, who maybe haven't, dove into the world of Google and tried to Google what's going on with my digestive symptoms, people who are also in the group and trying to help each other and seek information from other participants. This is kind of a clarification of what is this at the foundational level, what's causing it, and where can you start thinking about what you can do to help to get rid of it from your life, because nobody wants to live with IBS. It's not a pleasant situation to be dealing with every day, as we can see in this group. So I hope that helps, guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again very soon for the next installation of Shooting the Shit. Bye.